Oh, seven citizens, my name is Black and welcome to my channel, CasaBLACK Gaming. I will be your guide today, showing you all that you need to know in order to start your journey in Star Citizen with a 10-part beginner's guide, taking you from the main menus all the way to your first flight and accepting missions and more. Now, why 10 parts, you ask? Well, because the white man said so. Alright, terrible Chris Rock impressions aside, it's split up to make it easier for you to navigate, to watch what you need, and also easier for me to replace them later if there are changes that need to be made due to the direction of the game, adding new things like pyro next year, etc. Each guide will also be split up into chapters so you can skip around to the parts you need, making them more convenient and time-saving than most. These 10 parts will be in their own playlist on my channel, and I'm releasing them all at once so you will not have to wait for any of the others to come out. This first guide will explain the game basics like how to log into the game on the main menu, character creation, waking up in the world, how to interact with the various interactables, and how to use the in-game tool, the MobiGlass, to do everything from ship navigation to accepting missions. The 4 guides after this first one are the 4 different planets you can currently start on, and so your second video to watch will be based on which of those 4 planets that you started on. Now after those, videos 6 through 10 will complete the beginner journey in small, quick bite-sized guides and have you ready to start making a life for yourself out in the verse. Now before we get into this guide, I want to first ask that if you find this guide helpful, that you please subscribe to this channel so you can quickly find more of the many guides, ship loadout advice, ship reviews, and my extensive roadmap breakdowns which tracks the development of Star Citizen. My channel is a valuable resource for new players and old alike. Also, feel free to comment on the videos as I read every one and respond to almost all of them daily, and if you need further, more direct help with questions, feel free to join my Discord where me and my community are always there to help players with questions or to discuss our favorite ships or theories, and also as a place to vent when things go wrong in the verse. And lastly, if you have not yet created a Robert Space Industries account, then feel free to use my referral code, which is flashing in the upper right hand corner throughout the video and is also down in the description below. These referral codes help not only me but you the player as well, and depending on what time of year it is, you can at times also get a free ship just by using the code, so be sure to do that and check to see if there is a current promotion going on. Alright, and so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to this first guide. Alright, so let me first start off with the main menu, which is where your adventure begins. Now you have 3 options. The Persistent Universe, or PU as we call it, is where you're wanting to go and where I suggest you get started at. Once you have some basics down and you find certain things in the game that you would like practice with, that is when you should come back into these other 2 options. If you're wanting to brush up on your first-person shooter skills, then Star Marine is where you'll want to go. If you need some flight experience and coming in the next few months, practice on some of the actual in-game racetracks without worrying about dying and having to make your way back out to the racetrack, then Arena Commander is where you will want to go for that. Now, back on the main menu, once you click Persistent Universe, it takes you to the character creation screen. Now, as with most games, you will need to create your character to get started. You can make your character look any way you want. There are not a ton of options yet, but you can start randomizing until you get something kind of in the ballpark of what you're looking for, and then you can head on into individual settings to make the face look more to your liking. The only thing I will caution on you in terms of limitations is that some of the armor types are not designed for women, so they will not look particularly fitting to a woman, but it does not prevent you from wearing them or losing out on any aspects of gameplay. Now once you accept and confirm, it's time to select your server and starting planet. The first thing you will want to do is select the system. Currently, there is only one system, which is the Stanton system. Next year, we're hoping to finally get the long-awaited Pyrus system, but for now, Stanton it is. After you select Stanton, it's time to choose a starter planet. Now, where you start can matter only in that it makes some gameplay loops slightly easier when you're beginning, but a lot of that is just preference. Now, I have a nice breakdown video that I put out last month where I show you which of these starter planets to start on for specific professions destinations, but again, it's not necessary for new players since you can fly anywhere and reach these destinations later. It's more for those who know what they want to do and are in a hurry. Now, you're welcome to go watch that video on my channel before you decide to continue if you want, but again, it's not necessary. Now, after you choose the starting planet, you can then choose which server region you want to join. Now, I would recommend starting with the closest server to your region. However, if it's prime time in your area and you're seeing that the server's performance is laggy and you're seeing more issues than normal, then you can try logging into another server region. I often switch between the US and EU servers depending on how the servers are performing and the time of day. Performance will get better with some of the new tech coming in the next year or so, but until it's here, things can be rough sometimes. No matter which starting planet you choose, the rest of this video still pertains to you, so be sure to continue watching so you know what to expect and how to navigate your first 10 or so minutes in the game. Okay, so you've woken up in a bed in a tiny looking apartment or room. Congratulations, you are now in the verse. Now, a bit of warning here. If you're noticing that the floors or walls are not wanting to load right in for you, especially if this is your very first time logging into the game, you might want to sit here for 5 to 10 minutes so all of the materials and game files can properly load in and render. Now, this is just something upon a fresh install some players might need to do depending on your current hardware. Otherwise, you could head out and see things like elevators not spawning right or your character falling through the building to your death. Also keep in mind that the cities on the planets are the hardest hit performance-wise. Once you can leave them behind and move out into space or other moons, your performance gains will noticeably improve, making for a much smoother experience. Now, to exit your bed, you'll need to hit the Y key by default. Now, coming in 3.19, there will be a little control hints in the lower corner showing you which keys will perform certain functions, which you can leave on or turn off in the options. Now, I would leave them on for now until you get accustomed to them, and I will of course continue to display keys that will help you in these guides. When you're ready to turn them off though, just press escape, go to options, go down to control hints, and then set it to no to be off or yes to be on. So once you're up and about, you can leave the little hab by walking over to the door and pressing the F key, which is the key you would use to interact with doors. Your ship buttons and panels, food out at vendors, terminal screens alike, they will all use F, so F is your best friend. And before you ask, third person is a thing, but it's not recommended and will not stay on because every time you press the F key to interact with an item, your view will automatically switch back to first person. Now, this is by design, and I mainly use third person for some viewing preferences at certain times or for screenshots. Otherwise, I'm strictly first person. Once outside the hab, you can head over to an elevator, and once again, you will use F to interact with the elevator buttons. When in elevators, you will most often be selecting lobby if you're not sure where to go. Okay, so once you're off the elevator, let's talk about your MobiGlass. Every player has a smart wristband technology device brought to you by the good folks at Microtech. Hey, that's the planet that you may or may not be currently on, but it was one of the choices. So there you've got a little bit of lore. Now, to access your MobiGlass, press the F1 key. Once inside the menu, you have your vitals, how much money or credits you have, your oxygen rating, etc. Starting from our bottom left, there are icons or buttons that you can press. The first one is a comms channel where you can see the server chat box, also accessible by pressing F11. You can manage group members, see friends chats, and see pending friend or group invites. There's nothing too new here for established gamers or anyone familiar with social media. The next button at the bottom calls up your vehicle loadout manager. This screen is where you will upgrade your ship components. In order to upgrade your ships, you need to have the ship at the same location or starter planet that you're currently at. You will not have access to do this until you get to the spaceport and designate your ship or ships that you want here on your starting planet. As of right now, they are just stowed away in storage and not accessible. Now, we will go over how to buy ship upgrades and install them later in the 8th video where we'll do a real example. For now, I'm just telling you where it is and what it is. Up next are knickknacks. This is how you can keep track of where all of your items are, such as weapons, armor, cosmetics, ship paints, etc. This is going to tell you where they're all located at physically. Now, as a note, if you have any subscriber flare items or ship paints that you might have bought with real money for your ships, they are all located here at your starter planet. Select the planet you're currently at, then the city, and you can then sort by the different categories such as armor, paints, personal weapons, etc. This comes in handy once you start flying around the verse and leaving stuff all over the place, which is a good thing, but can have you forgetting where you left certain items, so this tool is handy for that. Now the next little symbol is the star map, which is also accessible by pressing the F2 key. Now this thing is a major pain in the rear and is something that is being upgraded, with that work looking mostly done this year. Hopefully we'll see it this year too, but let's see. For now, we all suffer with it as it's one of the oldest pieces of tech in the game and just flat out sucks. You use your mouse to move around it, whether by right clicking or left clicking. You can double click to zoom in or double right click to zoom out. And you can grab the little planets, which can be hard to see, and turn them around so you can see various places around it that you're able to select to travel to. Each ring is a planet orbiting the star in the center, which is called Stanton. Each planet on those rings has moons and then also points of interest just off their orbit, which are usually gaseous sections called Lagrange points. Now, most Lagrange points have stations that you'll be traveling to in order to buy armor or weapons or ship components. We will of course touch more on using this map in a future guide. The next icon is how you can transfer money to another player or receive money. You can type in anyone's name or specify a friend and just send them money. Now this is useful if you need to pay someone for something, or if a pirate is threatening you, they might let you go if you pay them what they're asking for. Next up is a very important one. This is the contract manager or your mission screen. From here you are able to select various professional missions, whether that be delivery or search or bounty hunting, etc. Some of these mission types have reputation linked to them that can vary or have different types depending on the planetary region that you're in. As you progress through the reputation by successfully completing missions, your reputation ranks up, which will open up harder and better paying missions. We'll cover these more later as well. Those you accept show up here in the Accepted tab, and you can only track one at a time, but you can switch between those that you track. The Personal tab at the top also has missions that might come from shadier or specific individuals, so do not forget about those. And Beacons is a way you can ask for help, so let's say you're injured but not yet dead. You're able to summon players to come aid you for a price, and this is where you would go to do that. Or if you're stranded somewhere and need a ride, you can use it for that as well. Now the next little icon to cover is the Vehicle's Maintenance Service tab, where you can repair or refuel your ship. Now this only works when you're seated in your cockpit of your ship and that ship is also landed on a landing pad where these services are offered, which is the majority of launch pads that you can land at. When parked, you can use this to refuel or make repairs or restock missiles and torpedoes if you've run out. Sometimes it can be a little sluggish, so if the servers are not doing well, give it a few seconds to pop up. The next icon is the Journal tab. This is just a bunch of information for you to further get to know things about an area that you're in, such as how much various crimes can set you back if you get caught doing something illegal. It also includes the current updated market pricing, so you can see the current going rate for an item you want to pick up and haul and sell for the best price. We're hoping this tool gets better with some new features as trading gets better, so hopefully that happens soon. Now the last icon is that reputation that I mentioned earlier. Once you start completing missions, you will see your current status with individual reputations and how far until your next level, and what, if any, rewards you can expect, such as if they might pay better, but most for now just open up additional paying missions. And that's going to be it for the MobiGlass and this first guide. At this point, you will want to select the next guide based on which starter planet you chose. So for instance, guide number 2 is for those who chose Orison on the gas giant planet Crusader as their starting area. Guide number 3 is for those who chose New Babbage on the snowy planet of Microtech as their starting planet. Guide number 4 is for those who chose Area 18 on the city planet of ArcCorp as their starter planet. And then guide number 5 is for those who chose Lorville on the industrial industrial dusty planet of Hurston as their starting planet. Now I will see you in the next guide, and remember to be kind to your fellow gamer. A good start leads to a strong finish, and stay positive, citizens.